What is going on, everyone? This is Mohammed, your PMP instructor from Certify with Ease. And in this video, we're going to do something very, very interesting. We're going to try to solve a PMP situation-based question in 30 seconds or less. I'm going to show you how easy it is once you have an understanding of the methodology, once you have an understanding of the principles, how easy it is to solve a situation-based question. And the reason why we're focused on the situation-based questions is because 80% of the exam is a situation-based question exam, right? So what you want to do, and you can use ChatGPT as your resource. It's a very excellent resource to get some accurate exam problems. I've taken the exam. I've trained so many students so far. I've seen thousands of exam questions, and these questions are on point. Okay, so you want to give it a simple prompt. I'm studying for the PMP exam. The question format starts with the situation. You can simply copy this for this little text here and put it in ChatGPT. Okay, so we're gonna start this together. I haven't seen the questions yet. I don't know what I'm gonna get, but we're gonna solve these questions together. Okay, so I'm gonna solve it first. Try to rapidly go through it. I'm going to try to get to the 30-second or less mark. And then once we get to the answer, I'll explain the reasoning behind it. Okay, so let me just move this right over here. And let's start. Oh, I forgot the timer. Let's start over here. All right, question number 1. Okay. All right, let's see. The project is, okay, so during the project discovers the critical feature requested by the client was not included in the original scope of the work. Projects have, okay, all right, cool. So number 1, I can eliminate, add the feature to the scope, and communicate the changes to the team. Okay, leave it as is. Perform an impact analysis to assess. Okay, that is the answer. 3 is the answer. I don't even have to read 4. 3 is the answer. All right, so we made it to 30 seconds. Let's leave it as that. Okay, so let me ask ChatGPT now, what's the answer? What's the answer for 1? Now remember, we said that number 1, 3 was the answer. Three. There we go. Beautiful. How did I get it? How did I get the answer so fast? Let me pull you through this answer. Okay, let's go through this answer together. It's very simple. Okay, so let me show you a little trick. I was able to eliminate 1 right off the bat. Inform the client that the feature cannot be added. Why? Because I remember my principles that I studied during the PMP exam. You can take a screenshot of this. That 18, we never immediately reject a request or an opportunity, especially from a client. Very important. We never do that. So we could eliminate 1 right off the bat. We haven't read the question together yet. I skimmed through the question very fast. Add the feature to the scope and communicate the changes to the team. Okay, nothing wrong with that so far. Perform an impact analysis to assess the effect on the project schedule and budget. Now, this is the answer that I want to see. The reason being is because it follows the most fundamental principle in the PMP exam, which is always take a step back and before deciding on a solution, analyze your situation. Analyze everything before deciding on a solution. Okay? That's why I chose 3 right off the bat. Reassign tasks to ensure the feature is developed without affecting the project timeline. Okay, so I don't know if that's the right answer. Let's read the question together. During a project to develop a new software application, the project team discovers that a critical feature requested by the client was not included in the original scope of the work. The project is already halfway through its scheduled timeline. What should the project manager do first? Okay, so I didn't even see this keyword over here. Anytime the question mentions first or next, you want to choose principle number 1. Which is, again, taking a step back and discussing, investigating, analyzing, asking before deciding on a solution. Okay, so let's move on to question number 2. I haven't seen question number 2. I know it's there. I know it's there in the bottom of the screen, but I haven't seen it. We're going to go back and restart the timer. And we are going to start. Let's go. All right. A PM notices that 2 team members are having conflict. Okay, a conflict question. Both team members are critical to the project's success. All right, ignore the conflict. No, never ignore. Address the conflict directly with both team members to find a resolution. Okay. Report the conflict to never run to senior management. Reassign one of the team members to a different project. We never want to kick out a team member, especially if they're critical to the project. the answer is going to be 2. That was a pretty easy one. And we made it to what? 24, 25 seconds. All right, cool. 27 seconds. All right. Question to answer. All right, this was a pretty easy question, I would say. The best answer is yes, number 2. Okay. So let's go back up. Number 2. All right. So there's a conflict between two team members. What should we do as a project manager? Ignore the conflict and focus on the project deliverables. Now we know that that's not the answer. We never want to ignore a conflict. Number 2, address the conflict directly with both team members to find a resolution. Okay, nothing wrong with that solution that solves the key problem. Let's move on. Report the conflict to senior management and seek their advice. So seeking advice is always a good idea. However, the PM makes the decisions and handles the issue. No running to senior management, to sponsors, to HR. Okay, there is a problem going to senior management. You can get these team members in trouble, which you don't want to do. It's going to create unnecessary friction within the team. Reassign one of the team members to a different project. Now, we don't do that generally speaking. Why? Because it is not the characteristic of a servant leader. It creates friction within the team if you kick one of your team members out. For example, number 3, never create friction in the team. And the question clearly says that they are critical to the project's success. Okay. All right, let's restart the timer and move on to number 3. Let's go. All right, question 3. A project upgrade company IT professionals due to unforeseen technical issues, stakeholders becoming increasingly concerned about the project's ability to meet its deadlines. Okay, what's the PM have done? Okay, conduct a thorough risk assessment, including contingency plans for the project. Okay, that's a good solution. Hire more technical. So we never want to hire resources to begin with. Inform stakeholders that delays were likely due to the complexity of the project. Extend the project timeline during the planning phase to account for potential delays. No, the best is going to be number 1. 32 seconds. Okay, I think I took a little bit too long reading the questions. But anyways, let's see. Question 3 answer. What did I say? The best one's going to be question number 1. Yeah, there we go. Number 1, there we go. Why? Why is it number 1? Now let's go through this together. Okay, so what's the problem statement here? Now, when you practice on these problems, you'll be able to understand what the problem statement is, because the problem statement is usually at the end of the problem. Okay. The stakeholders becoming increasingly concerned about the project's ability to meet its deadline. Why? Because of this repeated delays of this IT infrastructure. What should the project manager have done? So we're talking about the past. What should the project manager have done to prevent this situation? Okay, conducted a thorough risk assessment and included contingency plans in the project plan. Very good. When you assess the risk properly, you'll be able to mitigate the delay, especially if you have contingency plans ready. Okay, so I'll give you a little trick. Anytime they mention delay, a delay is a risk. Equate delay with the risk. So if you see delay in the question, look for the solution that talks about risk assessment, contingency plans. These are all keywords. 2, hired more technical experts to handle potential issues. So again, we don't want to hire people right away because of the extra costs associated with it. Principle number 2. So I was able to eliminate that fairly quickly. Inform stakeholders that delays were likely due to the complexity of the project. Okay, fine, but that doesn't solve the issue. That doesn't solve the issue of having this delay. We're trying to mitigate this delay. So because this doesn't solve the issue, we can eliminate number 3. Extended the project timeline during the planning phase to account for potential delays. Now, accounting for potential delays meaning that you have accepted this delay. Okay. One of our principles is never ever settle for a delay. Never settle for a delay. So that's why I was able to eliminate 4 immediately as well. Okay. We're going to try to get 30 seconds or less now for question number 4. Let's do this. All right, let's begin. Number 4, midway through a construction project, the project manager receives a request from the client to incorporate a new feature design. Okay, fine. The team is already in full capacity. What should the project manager do next? Okay. Agree to the request and inform the team to start. No. Reject the request. Never rejected the request. Evaluate the impact of the new request. Yes. Number 1. Pause the current work. And okay. 3 is the answer. I can tell you that. We're at 20 seconds. Boom. Now, this wasn't really fair because this question was pretty short. But let's see. Question 4 answer. Number 3, evaluate the new request. Why? Because simply principle number 1, taking a step back, evaluating the request, okay? So again, anytime they mention what should the project manager do first or next, you want to look for principle number 1. Evaluate, take a step back, analyze, gather some information before deciding on an actual solution. Okay? So agree to the request and inform the team to start working on the new design feature. I mean, your team is already full capacity, right? So that's not going to work. Reject the request. We never reject the request. Principle number 18. We talked about this. Pause the current work and focus on the new design feature. When we pause the current work, what happens to the overall project progress? It becomes delayed. And principle number 2 is to never settle for a delay. So we could eliminate that right away. All right. Let's do question number 5. Reset this. Let's start it. Let's go. All right, these questions are pretty short. So there's a high turnover, which causing disruptions in project activities and delays in deliverables. Okay, what should the project manager do to address this issue? Offer financial incentives? No. Conduct exit interviews? No. Hire temporary staff? No. Assign additional work to remaining team members to ensure project continuity? Yes. 4 is the answer. Question 5. Actually, how much time do we get? We got 22 seconds. Sweet. Question 5. Answer. I'm going to ask ChatGPT in the next video to make these questions a little bit harder. And we're going to solve them together. All right. Conduct exit interviews to understand the reasons for high turnover. Oh, yes, this is the answer. Conduct exit interviews to understand the reasons for high turnover and address them. Very good. So I just wrote conduct exit interviews, and what I processed was basically fire people. So that's a contradiction in our principles. But we're conducting exit interviews to understand the reasons, the root cause. Okay, so this is interesting. So I got this one wrong. But this is a learning experience for me as well. So let's read this problem together. The project team is experiencing a high turnover rate. What should the project manager do to address this issue? That's your problem statement. Offer financial incentives to retain team members. Now remember, we never want to spend money if not needed, right? Principle number 2, never settle for extra costs. Okay, we're going to skip number 2 for now. Hire temporary staff to fill the gaps left by departing team members. Okay, so again, hiring, principle number 2, we don't want to spend money if not needed. Assign additional work to remaining team members to ensure project continuity. It's a good solution. It's not wrong. However, the best solution to fix this high turnover rate is going to be number 2. Why? When you are conducting exit interviews to understand the reasons, what are you inherently doing? You are conducting something known as a root cause analysis. You are finding the root cause of the problem, which is principle number 5, root cause analysis. And you're taking a step back before deciding on an actual solution. You are investigating. You're trying to figure out what the problem is. And you are addressing them. So this is the best solution. Remember, on your exam, actually read the questions. Don't do what I'm doing. We're trying to just test out the principle and the methodology to see if we can answer as many problems as possible. Okay, number 6. Oh, there's number 6. You know what? Since we got this one wrong, we're going to ask ChatGPT for another question. Please give me another question, but harder. Let's just put this one. Okay, let's do this. Let's just restart this timer. I'm going to put this together. Okay, so I'm not going to read it, but let's just go here. I'm just going to give ChatGPT a little bit time to give me this magic question. Hopefully it's not that hard, or this video is going to backfire. But let's start it together. All right, let's go. 30 seconds. Oh, man. Okay, it's going to probably take more than 30 seconds. All right. Our project develop a new product in its execution phase. A project manager receives a notification from a supplier, critical component. Okay, delayed. Yeah, okay, the project is operating on a tight schedule, and any delay could significantly impact the project deadline. The PM has a contingency plan that involves using an alternative supplier, but this will increase the project cost by 15%. The project sponsor has emphasized the importance of staying within the budget, but also expects timely delivery. All right. What should they give the answer. The best answer is 3. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop the timer because I'm not going to get this in 30 seconds. But let's solve it together. Okay, let's solve this one together. So, what is the problem statement? Let's read this question together one more time. A project to develop a new product is in execution. The project manager receives a notification from the supplier that a critical component will be delayed by 2 weeks. We're going to have a delay by 2 weeks. Remember, in project management, a delay is probably the worst thing that can possibly happen. The project is operating on a tight schedule, and any delay could significantly impact the project deadline. The PM has a contingency plan that involves using an alternative supplier, but will increase the project cost by 15%. The project sponsor has emphasized the importance of staying within the budget, but also expects timely delivery. Okay, there's a lot of things going on in this question. Basically, what you have is this scenario where the project is going to be delayed unless the PM uses an alternative supplier. But this alternative supplier will result in a 15% increase in project costs. I do not care about the number. I don't care about 15%. They're trying to throw you off by mentioning a specific number. What we care about is that the project budget is going to increase. The sponsor says that we need to deliver on time within budget as well. What should the PM do next? Next is your keyword here. You want to look for principle number 1. Inform the project sponsor about the delay and request additional funds to cover the increased cost of the alternative supplier. Remember, we do not want to opt in for extra costs immediately. Let's move on. Utilize the alternative supplier to ensure the project stays on schedule, even if it means exceeding the budget. Again, we do not want to choose the answer that selects extra costs. And number two, we're gonna get to number 2 pretty soon. Conduct a cost-benefit analysis using the alternative supplier versus accepting the delay, and present the findings to the project sponsor. Okay, beautiful solution. This is the PM taking a step back. Remember, when they mention first or next, you want to follow principle number 1. Discuss, investigate, analyze. Basically, gather all the information required before making a decision. 3 is the only one that does that. 4, renegotiate the current supplier to expedite the delivery at no additional cost. Again, at the end of the day, it's probably not going to be feasible or possible. And the best answer is going to be number 3, where the PM actually takes a step back and figures out or gathers all the information required before deciding on a solution. Okay. There you have it. We got most of these questions under 30 seconds. And this is very, very possible if you have the right principles, have the right mindset. You can solve these questions extremely, extremely fast. And the reason why I emphasize on this so much is because the PMP is a timed exam. So you want to make sure that you have ample time to answer the questions on the exam. Okay. If you are interested in learning this approach, taking the easy way, not spending 35 hours covering a Udemy course or reading an entire textbook from cover to cover or taking a 10-hour a day boot camp, then book a call and I will show you this entire PMP mastery course program that will get you PMP certified without all of that extra stuff. Okay, take care. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and have a fantastic rest of the day.